This is okay. It looks like you're kind of messing up on target prioritization. So, okay, what do you do when you're going against 2 dive tanks and you're playing Mag as a front tank, right? The Thor is pressuring your Strange, but your Strange is already like nearly full HP. You could bubble him and look directly back and just forget about him. Also just looking back is fine, because you understand they're playing a dive composition. You gotta save your bubble for your team. So this is also a really good play. So you go here, you look at the back line, you see them go out, and now you're focusing on the front line. Because they don't have a main tank, you have to abuse on killing the supports and applying pressure on the supports. Your team will more often than not survive this as long as you keep your body up here, right? Your goal is to keep the space and not let this Thor through, but you don't want to be shooting at the Thor. Okay, this is very important. You want to be shooting only at the supports, but think of it as like soccer terms, right? You want to be holding this line. You don't want him to cross you, because then it opens up the opportunity for these support players to be passing the ball through you, right? So you want to be in between the Thor and your actual team, because this is the threat. But now that you understand this is the threat and they have the ball, you want to be shooting the supports. Otherwise, you're just tickling the Thor just to tickle the Thor. So here, you want to be looking over here in between the Thor and looking at supports. This Venom happens to pop in between the supports. But yeah, this is kind of like the correct play. This is good. I would consider backing a little bit, but yeah, this is fine.
So should I have shot any of the supports there or no? Because my thought process is, since he just got Acorn, we were trying to burst Thor down. But like, the only reason I was like still looking at Thor because he was just so out of position.
This is fine.
Even after the Acorn.
Right here, he gets. Let me back up. The Acorn here. Right here, this is fine to pressure because he kind of crosses the line of being too close to your team, and now you have to apply pressure to him. So this is where it is acceptable. Right here in this situation, this is perfect distance. You see him closing into you, you continue shooting at him. But when he's at a choke right here, I can't get to the correct spot. But when he was over here, this is where you don't have to apply pressure until he commits to the choke. He didn't commit to the choke yet, but as soon as he gets to this line right here, you have to pressure him, right? You can't really pressure his supports as much anymore. So yeah, right here is the correct play. So right here, he gets Acorn. This isn't correct because he's not past the choke. There's no threat and his supports are open. So here, no. Now you do, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So the line is the choke itself, right?
Yeah, I consider this line as choke 1, and then this is a semi-choke. Because, no, I would consider as this the main choke. This is just a small hallway, so. But now, bam, he passes the choke. Either he can shield and block off feelings, for the Thor, or just do damage on the Thor. Either play is correct. So here is fine. And then you go on backline. So all this is good. This is okay. You kind of just wasted bubble, but did you just not see the mag? I think you just kind of slipped that mag was in the game.
I did see.
Okay. So when you do see a mag, this is the same concept of you don't want to purely attack the mag. You want to be poking its backline, but when he passes a choke, you have to commit to him. Or when you see him like ready to pass a choke, then you have to pressure him. Okay. Also same of pressuring him if he's pressuring your backline, because that's the whole purpose. Because he's getting closer to the line of threat of your backline. So here, because he's approaching you, you're trying to match the space in front of him from what he can see, while still having a line of what you can see. Honestly, they don't have a lot of damage on you, so it's okay for you to walk forward and press on him, because you're still gonna get LOS from your team. Your goal is to hug the left side because your team is more like the center of mass of your team is more on the left side. So you want to be hugging this wall and making sure he's not looking past through your team, while your goal is to look past through his team and shoot the supports.
So right here, I should be shooting Mag because he's just getting too much space. Yeah. That's
yes. Yeah.
Okay.
It's because he's getting LOS on your backline with no pressure as a frontline tank, and that's really bad. At this point, no one's shooting the ult, so you kind of just have to give. And then, yeah, everyone falls apart. Nice.
Yeah, he was going for hero plays a lot.
Yeah. This is good though.
Yeah.
Nice. You just reacted a little bit slow on the damage reduction, but I think you're looking too much back. You're looking too back and forth on thing. I just need to see.
My thought process is that the rocket ult is just way too far. We were gonna die anyway, so like I was just looking towards my backline to see if I could save someone with damage reduction. Yeah, so bad rocket ult, it gets burnt.
Yeah, bad rocket ult. Your goal is to get your team to here. That's your goal. Yeah. And let's see how you do that though. Yeah, you did it a little too late. So like, don't think about these ults, right? At all. Generally, think of just a cloak and dagger ult. You realize it was a bad ult. Instantly, like I feel like you should be damage reduction now. In your team, it gives your team slightly a little bit more time of backing off to this choke.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's someone a lost fight already.
Well, wait, was I the reason we completely lost this fight though? Because 2 of them just died instantly.
No. So Squirgle, completely her fault. Rocket, I don't know how he died. Okay, somewhat, yeah. So the timing of when you didn't damage reduction did hurt your team. So how do you know when to damage reduction? Is if they pass the choke and you know that your team has to get to here now. You do it as soon as possible. There's no.
So I should have done it. I should have done it for a squishy mainly, yeah.
Yeah, mainly for a squishy. But like you just want to do it right when you realize, oh, we lost the choke. I'm doing it now and backing up. You don't want to do it. Okay. Your goal for damage reduction is do it before the damage is already done or dealt.
Yeah.
So it's always better to do it slightly earlier than later. So yeah, that it was kind of on you for not saving this rocket, but it's also not your fault for this Squirrel dying. Yeah, Squirrel was just too upfront. But see how you did a last minute damage reduction?
Yeah.
So that happens, so. Alright, you have ult.
I whiff on this ult. It's just not good.
You got the Emma, but it doesn't really help too much. So whenever your team has advantage and you use ult, you're using your damage reduction too much. The vulnerable is so much more useful, especially when applying pressure on the team.
Yeah,
in this case, yeah.
I haven't played Thing a lot ever since he got the vulnerable added to him, so I don't have that habit built in yet.
That's fine, but like, just think of it, if I'm any other tank, I would be applying more pressure than putting a shield in front of my team, because that's what's gonna win us a team fight.
Yeah, you know, that makes sense.
Is this good? Yeah, and then you win the team fight here.
I should be playing up more front, no? Like at least where the strange is, like in the corner.
So here you're
doing fine.
What you're doing is fine because one, you have an anti-dive set up. Your Rock is a really good player at understanding bunker, and you want to be maximizing your vulnerable state right now to apply as much pressure on their tanks. But right now you gotta kite first. Your team is not with you, obviously, and your goal is to get to this choke and hold your ground and anchor your feet at this part of the map. Unless you're getting C9, you want to anchor here because this is a hard choke to go through. Makes a play. This is really good.
I just didn't stay in because I didn't have any of like my jump abilities.
Yeah. It's okay. Your team was able to capitalize. You guys are getting C9 now, which makes sense because they have a dive. Here you're peeling too much. You're peeling way too much though. You just need to anchor your feet here. If you're worried about it, then you just look behind you. But you shouldn't now, because you committed yourself to go and check off of a dive character. This is gonna take you around 5 seconds to meet up here. And now the time that it takes you to get that choke, their tanks are already gonna be up here pressuring your strange. So anything could happen to your strange, like get pulled or anything. So you kind of have to rely on your team to, you just have to look back whenever you're getting C9 as an off tank especially. It's not your job. The only time it is your job is your other off tank is there. Okay. There you go. Okay. But yeah, you just need a hold of this choke. See, now your strange is doing so. Here's a problem of you not being here now. Your goal is just to anchor your feet and play super hard here. Now your strange is playing back. But if you were already here with your strange, subconsciously your strange is going to be playing with you. But now you're playing off your strange. This is good. Okay, so you need to help your team. So okay, so there's another queue where you have to back up even faster. You're doing it too late again. So you're right here, right? You're applying pressure. Your goal is to hold your ground, but at this point, Brute is committed in the choke. Their mag is nearly committed through the choke, right? You should be backing up now, like absolutely now. You shouldn't be dropping and dying on this choke, right? So you should be dashing to your team. And you have to assume your team is already backing up and playing behind cart, right? By the time they pass in front of this choke, they've already taken all of the space to the cart where it's at. Like, this is the only playable area that your team can play now, unless your team already set up high or whatever before the round, like before the fight even started. So your goal is to get to here as fast as humanly possible to set up your team to comfortably set up further behind, at least behind a shield, right? Or a tank in this case. So here you should be running already. You should be running through and getting to here and then playing passive, or just jumping into your team first and then just walking back and kiting. Either one is fine. But see how like the concept of keeping the space in between from the mag and your supports is really important, because now the mag has free reign on your supports. So you're just making the decision on where you need to be too late, right? I like the play that you're trying to go for the supports, but that's not the main threat. The main threat is where this fight is happening, because they already passed the choke line. And your team kind of get rolled over here. So here you just gotta like stall car off in desperation. I don't know how you got a kill, but yeah. Going for ult. This is good, damage reduction. So, your Strange did a bad portal, right? But as a tank player, once you get onto point, your goal is, where do I want my team to set up in order to play this fight? And the answer is right here, this box. You want your players to be playing safe behind this box because this is their only safe place right here. So as a tank, you want to be somewhat hiding yourself behind here and playing close to where you want your teammates to be, and they'll naturally kite to you, right? Either that or you somehow make a play and take the space yourself. It's just a lot more risky if you do that, so keep note of this. But yeah, say that you did set up back here already, you use your flam and you hold your ult. If anyone tries pressuring you at this point, your supports would be able to see that there's a safe spot behind you, and they'll more often than not play behind you. If you play straight up on cart and everyone's everywhere, you're essentially doing nothing but just taking damage and dealing damage. So your goal is to kite yourself in a way to where your supports are able to follow up and be like, okay, I can play behind this cover. Instead of, oh, I'm fighting. Supports see this, and they're gonna be like, okay, there's nowhere to go, so I guess I'll just drop in with you because you're the anchor. So you just have to think of that, especially as a tank. Oops, a little too far. So you swap the mag. So they're already taking the space for first point. There's no point, like there's no way you can take this. And now you have to play this hard anchor, right? Your goal here is just to stop the LOS of this Magneto from getting to your LOS while simultaneously hitting their backline.
Yep.
But their backline is so far back to where the only person you can hit is either the people in the off angles, which is great, or just the tanks to pressure them even harder. So here's fine. And now your Strange is making a play. You should be pushing up with them. This is good. You widen the angle. Unlucky timing. We got him cooldowns. Okay. So this is kind of tough. So generally when you're thinking of hard angles, the space is already given up because they passed this choke. Your next best defender position is back here because you have this corner and it's nearly impossible to back up. The play you're making now by pressing forward with your Strange is you have to win the fight in order to gain value from this fight to stop the card, right? So right now, let's just say hypothetically you just stay here. You see your Strange pushes up here, right? Sure, you want to be staying here and you can bubble him, but you know that this space is already given, right? You break this wall. This is kind of how you pressure the off angles and still supporting your Strange because you bubble him because you still have LOS and you're protecting your backline at the same time. Just because you understand that this anchor hold is so much stronger than pushing up and making this play. The only time you want to be pushing up and making this play is if you have ultimates, right? Or you're forcing an ultimate to happen and you anticipate, oh, they have ults, which is true. They do have ults. So I guess this would be good if you're ready to force an ult out. But if you don't force them to ult here, this play is really bad, especially coming from a Strange. So someone dies, but this is kind of also their fault. 2, you end up backing off anyways, using more utility than you kind of have to. And then now they were ready, because you weren't here just waiting and pressuring the Groot was able to walk up and kind of just get a free ult. If you just played more back on this hard anchor and understand that, okay, this is fine holding here and giving them space because they already have it taken and we don't have any ults, it's fine just holding here. So you were just a little impatient. The Strange was definitely impatient with this play, but playing here is the best option. So now we're able to ult here. Push in. So, alright, now you're in a weird situation where you cloaked ult and your entire purpose during out this cloak ult is to kill someone. Otherwise the cloak ult is kind of like worthless, but also you need to take the space. I like the positioning. It's just really risky because your Strange needs to be in this position too, and then you can play the hard anchor at your best defender's area. So I guess you're making the right play. I kind of wish the Strange was also making the play with you while the supports would stay back here. But this is good.
You would do the same thing as me in this situation, right? If your other tank was just... I don't know if he died.
Yeah.
Or if he really was just that scared. Or something like that.
This is good. Your team is able to handle the backline a little bit. It sucks that someone died. But you're backing up... Okay, see how you're backing up space for no reason now? I know that you're down one, but you're still able to hard anchor in this area. You should be pressuring supports and forcing the tanks to be looking at you. It's a little harder now, especially since there's an Emma. But both you and your Strange should be pushing and holding this defender's arc. Right? Yeah, now your team is getting run down. Yeah, you just need a pressure. So it's the same concept right here. Let's go back a little. So right here, perfect. Your goal is to stop the LOS of the mag while pressuring him back. So you want to be shooting at him and blocking its LOS. You want to get like right up in front of him. But see how like the moment you kind of let him through, you also let the Emma through, and now they're gonna roll your backline. So your goal, especially against Magneto, is to block his LOS.
Would the cart in this situation be considered the choke? Like the line?
Yes, until the fight is finished. If the fight is finished, then you play up here.
Yeah.
But the fight's not finished, so this choke would be right here.
So what me and my Strange did wrong is like, we should have held the front line better, right? We can't just let the tanks get past.
Yeah, you have to, because the fight is currently still active and you didn't win the fight, you're not in a winning position, you have to play more front to back and focusing more on the tanks themselves before you can even think about their backline. Because now you're in a 50-50, right? You have two tanks, you have the support, and where was it? Yeah, pretty much two tanks, two supports, and a DPS. They have two tanks and two DPS. And then I guess... No, they have two tanks, a DPS, and two supports. So in a way, there's... I guess the fight is pretty even. Yeah, the fight's even right now. This is still a 50-50 opportunity for you guys to lose this. So you have to just play this front to back and stabilize, especially since you're closer to spawn. You just have to play at the choke. Until you see the opportunity that they're down and you have a more like a 70-30% chance of winning the fight, then you can start making more aggressive plays and start ignoring the tanks, and then you can start poking at supports. But because they have LOS on your guys' support and no one can deal with it, it's your job to get in his face and deny that, because this fight is still active. You haven't won.
right there. That Mad got super aggressive. Should I have been up in his face, or what I did there was fine?
Here it's fine. Your goal is just to pressure and like keep shooting at him. You don't. The only times you really want to actually be up in his face is if you see him actively like poking at your backline and he's not getting pressured enough. So you have to go and like block his heals. You have to go and use your bubble to start so he accidentally hits you, which charges up your right click to do more damage on him. On Emma is a little different. Emma's like a lot more stronger. If you get too close to her, she can one shot and punish you. So be careful on Emma. But when it comes to Mag, they don't have typically a lot of DPS, but the biggest threat when it comes to Mag is their pressure, like how far they're able to pressure teams. If they get to, like the LOS, like here, you're able to pressure their supports, even though they're behind the choke and they're super far away. You're still able to pressure them. So right now, you should be pressuring the supports, especially since they're down their Magneto. This is good. This is really good. Now you get to do whatever you want here. This is good. Alright. We just didn't expect the portal play so soon. Nice, huge ult. Okay. So, portal, when it comes to chokes and portals, the portal is now the new choke, and they basically created a wall here. So this is your new line of choke. It just gets really awkward because this is where they need a cap. So this is dangerous. Sometimes you want to play up here, but sometimes you want to play back here. It's a tough decision because someone has to be on cart to win the game. Like someone has to be on the cart. While, like, in the best case scenario, they're not pressuring cart and they're only pressuring your team, you don't have to worry about cart and you can kill them off. But generally, like, you guys are at a disadvantage no matter what in this fight because of where the portal is placed and now where the new choke line is at, unless you kill one of the supports. But here you're playing well. This is like the best position you can be as Mag while helping your team and still on cart. But now, oh my god, but now you just put yourself in the worst position ever by playing over here because now this wall is blocking you more than what you think. You just want to play in this corner and play the pocket. This is kind of like your little pocket and you can't move from here. It's just really hard at this point. Can't really do much in this situation. But yeah, that's why you guys kind of fall over. Yeah. So in that situation, because they portaled in a good spot, you can't really do much. Alright, you're going against the Kenny. This is good. Whenever you're playing against Penny, by the way, always make sure you clear your corners. Good Penny players would put mines here, they would put mines here, and they would put mines here on this wall, or sometimes the floor. So always be clearing things whenever you're going against a Penny. Another Penny tip, especially on this map, if you see nests is here, you don't have to go all the way around for this Penny. This is a bad Penny player, and you can just go far left and you get LOS. If they put it here though, and they extend your webs, then you have to play up here and go around, just for future reference. But as of now, this is a bad Penny player. You see the center of mass is pretty much in the middle, and it spreads out this way, so you can just kite this way and get free LOS. I'm pretty sure you can go up here. Yeah, you can technically go up here and get LOS too, for any DPS players out there. But yeah. This is good though. Nice peel. Good kill. There was kind of... Well, I guess he went over here to check in the nest, so this is fine. Nice. Alright, you gotta be looking at, like, the mag, not the penny. The reason why I want you to be looking at the mag is because he's your biggest threat, and you need to see where he's poking at. I think he was the reason why your cloak popped the ult. Because he was just poking at backline. Nice, huge pick. Hopefully you guys can break the ult. Nice, he forced ult. Yeah, that was a good fight. You just need to look at their mag a little bit more, but because you guys were in a support role, there wasn't as much of a reason to, so this is fine.
So, like, in that situation,
Mhm.
it's just look at the main tank more than the off tank, yeah? Is what you're basically saying? So this could apply
Yes.
to a lot more team comp. What if they had two?
Especially the
What if they had,
main.
like, two main tanks then? It just
So
doesn't-
whenever
just
you have two main tanks, you have to play a little bit slower. It also depends if you... Like, are you saying, like, if they have two main tanks, who do you look at? Or if you have two main tanks?
if they had two main tanks. Honestly, if they had two main tanks, they're
Mhm.
like pretend the Penny was a main tank. I was still
Like
looking
a
at the right
Strange?
thing because that person, yeah, say like that, yeah, that would still be a good target prioritization by me, just because
If-
they're a main tank, they're slower in that spot.
Yeah, but they have to be a main tank. If they're an off tank that doesn't apply as much pressure, then you don't have to look at them.
Yeah.
You're trying to really look at who's the bigger threat that I need to like eliminate. So if say that wasn't a Penny and that was a Thor waiting, then you have to look at that Thor because he's the main threat. Magneto, if he pushes past the choke and making a play, he's now the main threat. So it's whatever tank that is the main threat, you should be cutting his LOS, right? Strange finds an opportunity to go in and try to apply pressure to burst. He's the main threat and you have to try to deal with him. So like you'll see the more you play with like double main tanks at least, they kind of go back and forth with who's applying pressure. If they both do it at the same time, you kind of have to just pick. You just have to like think whatever you think is more like threatening than the other. So like Strange and Magneto, I think Strange is a bigger threat if he finds the opportunity to go in and just burst your team. But it depends. The entire point is you're trying to cut the LOS of the main tanks as much as possible for them to make a play. Or just any threat in general. But yeah. This is good. You're just playing height. I like this play.
It's double tier though.
Here is a weird tip, but you don't want to break that. This is to deny like invis players from pulling you, but I guess this is fine because they don't have one. It's just a general tip though. Oh, yep. Now you just kite.
I sold here. I stayed way too in.
This is okay, but you're pressuring the wrong person. So, okay, say that you're in their situation, right?
Yeah.
And you're up in this high ground and you're trying to retank as a tank, right? These tanks would see you and you should be a threat. This Emma should be dashing up or just playing main and abusing your Strange. And this Mac should be poking you from afar, right? The reason why they stay back, this is a good play because you stayed back. You're in your supports LOS. You should stay up here. But you need to be prioritizing on their back line while your Strange is dealing with the front line. The time you know when Strange needs help is when he backs up from this defender hold and you're like, okay, now I have to drop because he's backing up and then you're giving up too much space. So here you want to be defending on this choke and making it as hard as possible for supports to be walking up, right? You're bringing the most value by poking at their supports right here. right? Without dying, of course, without getting pulled. You have to watch out for that. But you would be poking at their DPS and their support so they can't make space, while the tanks are just waiting here to have their team up. But if they do pressure you enough to back off, this is where you drop instantly and then help your front line to hold this anchor. You just want to anchor yourself here. So overall, this is good. You're just looking at the wrong people at the wrong time. So now you should be dropping. Should be dropping. Yeah. So your cue to drop is when the tanks are past this choke, or this like defender's like position area, right? Because now they're past, you will get cut off from the team, and they created the space, and your tank kind of lost already. So that's your cue whenever holding an off angle as a tank player, is whenever they pass the off angle and through the choke, then it's pretty much too late. So you just have to look at your Strange more than anything else and keeping check on him while you're doing pressure on their backline or their DPS. Looks like they won the fight, which is great. Nice. Probably didn't need that, but it's fine. Yeah, this is good. Yep. Nice. I like this. Nice, huge. That was perfect. They went right past the choke, like they were about to enter through the choke. You used your ult to deny that pressure, and now they respawn in this portal, and you were able to get a kill off it. Yeah, this is perfect. That was really good. I need to see what your team's doing here. You guys should be pressing forward more. 2 tanks. I guess you have a DPS peeling for your backline. Okay, the problem with this Hela is this Hela should be placing space up here, or Butcher Namor, either one.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But as of now, what you can do is also go up here. You can also go and take this space and take the far left to get a deeper sight line, right? I think that's what you should be doing now. You know to do this by thinking of these defender anchor spots, right? So say that you were these tanks right here. What do you think is like their best play? Like, see how like they're kind of giving you guys the opportunity to stay up here and play forward because they're repositioning. This is where you need to bring the fight up here at this choke, right? The tanks have to play back here because this is their only safety net until their team follows up and catches up to them, and then they can make plays and do ultimates or whatnot. But as of now, your goal is to pressure up to here. If you can't get up to here because you meet their tanks already, then you can start taking deeper angles in these off angles, right? So you want to be playing up here, you would jump up here and play up here. You want to be hugging even this left wall. This is fine. Your goal is to take the deeper angle on this sight line so they can't push through this choke. So in a way, you have to, whoever gets to the defender position first kind of wins the battle. So you're just backing up too early, you let them out, and now they're able to have more space and then dictate where they want the fight to happen. So now, because you guys are not taking the space, the cart catches up to you. And you kind of lose because the cart catches up to you. And that's how you know it's too late. So the reason why they push so far forward in this situation, remember how I was telling you how like you have to kind of hold here? Because it's really hard. Like you kind of gave up the space already. they were able to push up and then press their ultimates at where they want the fight to happen. They were able to press up, and now the Emma ult can ult in this space. This is really bad. So next time you should be pushing forward and forcing them to use the ult to go in. So that's why I was talking about on defender side, you kind of have to wait here until you get your ult, or if they decide to not take this space, you can start applying more pressure and get deeper sight lines off of these off angles. But since you're attacking, your goal is to deny that. Yeah, you guys get run over because you didn't start the fight of where it should have happened, and you couldn't kite away.
Wait, so how do, like, when the cart reached us, how was that losing? How does that, like, mean that we're losing, if that makes sense? Because you said that's how you already know you lost, because the cart managed to catch up to you.
So the cart caught up to you when you weren't even at a choke. This is really bad because now it creates defender side to create the choke off of where the cart is. So let's look at defender shirt real quick, right? They're pressuring here. You're making the space. One of you guys get picked off. But see how they're creating the choke line to be here now? Off of the cart? While the cart should be pushed up here. You guys know that you did a good job when you lose the fight, but the cart is at the correct choke. You guys lost the fight and gave up too much space when the cart is right here and creating them a new choke to play off of. And now the next fight that you guys have to engage, they can play up here and then they can kite to defender's hold, like the strong defender hold. So they can kite and play back here now. And this essentially gives them 2 fights. Off of you guys. So that's why I'm saying this is why you kind of lost. It's because this cart is not up to this choke and you didn't force the fight to happen here.
Yeah.
And this applies to the other way around. So say that you were pressuring right here, right? You're fighting. You make them force the ult here. Now you have to back up. But then you get the second fight. This is giving you 2 fights now, right? So it's kind of like you have to think of it as the number of fights that you're taking within the space. So as attack, you want to pressure up and give yourself 2 fights. As defense, as long as you have ultimates and you're able to guarantee you can kite back to the spot, you want to pressure up, make the fight happen here, and then kite back. It's just really hard when they have tanks that know this and they take the space and force you to take the fight here, right? But otherwise, what they did was a perfect play, and now they get 2 fights ahead of you guys. So you guys die here. Using hook. Unlucky timing. When it comes to buggy hook, you kind of have to just react to the click, like, of him doing it, and then him making the sound, because he can hold that for like forever, and I hate it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just like something you didn't expect, so it's fine. But see how they have another fight, and it kind of just snowballs off of this. So yeah. So your goal here is to pressure their backline. You don't want to be pressuring the tanks, but you want to pressure the space and create the space in between them so your team can make more plays. The reason why you want to be doing that is because they're committed through the choke, and you have to pressure people that you can. Like, this is going to bring the most value by pressuring the people in between the tanks. So you should be looking at the Bucky, you should be looking at the Luna. You can be poking at the Emma sometimes because she's a very strong character on your Strange and you don't want her to get one shot, but you want to pressure the people in between. So that's you should be prioritizing them. Not this mag, this is good. You guys had support ult, so you just walk in. Unlucky you guys were down too. I think you lost because you didn't follow the rule of being in max LOS while you're shooting their backline. So let's like look this back here. You should be in his face. This is when you need to be in his face and poking their backline. This makes it to where he can't make any play at all if you're looking at his face and applying pressure and bubbling in front of him. So imagine if you were just standing right here. You just apply so much more pressure on their entire kited. But see how you kind of kited on the left and now you're giving him space for kind of no reason? You kind of let him get a free kill on their backline. Yeah, he got a free kill and their magic got set up for it. You guys didn't expect magic. I don't really care about this. It's really about you being in mag's face while you're pushing up with the team. So it was like somewhat your fault for not being in mag's LOS and denying that. But your priority was correct in this fight. Like, as in like who you need to look at and shoot.
So the only thing you would change is just me being more upfront in max face, so I get like 2 things done in one play, in a way?
Yeah, you want to position yourself in front of the threat while also being threatening in their backline, because that's who you need to pressure for this fight. Yeah, I think you guys kind of lost this fight because of it. Like that one fight. Our team is playing a pretty good job. This is good. They're down numbers. You should be applying pressure on their backline. Yeah, this works too. This is fine. I like this. Nice bubble. Perfect. Okay, this is perfect because you guys decided to use resources on the choke that you need to press forward because you guys meet up at the choke by the time the cart is here, and see how the cart is actively pushing up while you're making the play. This is correct because if you do happen to lose the fight, or like not completely lose the fight, but you guys are down a player, you need a kite, you kite to a spot where the cart is past the choke and they can't play defender's choke anymore. They have to play this weird off choke now. So you essentially won the fight. Even if you have to kite back and you lose the ultimate battle, you won the fight, right? Because you're getting value off your cart already. So see, now you have to kite. And this is fine. You just have to stabilize. And this is great. This is good right here.
So okay, so what's the theory of like cart making like defenders play certain spots?
It's really the amount of like fights that you're willing to take and how to kite. So let's look back at this fight. Right here. The cart is right here and the tanks are playing right here. They don't want the cart to pass this choke because then they can't play at this choke anymore. Because if the, let me go in the future real quick. See how the cart is already past the choke or in the choke line?
Yeah.
Now this spot is not accessible to defenders unless they hard win, like completely team wipe the fight, right? Because say that they use ultimates, they apply pressure. Here, I'll just play it out so it's easier to explain. You guys use ults. Cart is naturally gonna push up because they have to respawn and kite back a little bit. Strange hits a fat ult. You were able to get a pick while cart is still moving. Even if you didn't get a pick, there was still pressure to kite back. Right? Now they regain the space, but the space doesn't matter because your team is in a position to kite, right? This is where you don't want to be playing too much forward. You're forcing them to take a bad battle because they can't hold this anymore. So they use ult. They're backing up. This Emma's ult essentially did nothing because you guys were able to kite back because of where the cart is positioned. So this essentially gave you another fight to push in again, and they can't hold up close here because the cart is going to naturally just cut off LOS from their team. So they kind of lost the advantage of this defender's hold because of cart. The cart like cuts off LOS. Yeah, that's like the main thing. Not thinking about it. This just cuts off LOS, and they just can't play here, and it's really awkward to play
passive
here.
Healing.
Pretty much, yeah. You're able to play more around this as an attacker than defenders because see, you have better sight lines here. As defenders, you don't really have great sight lines at all because of this cart being passive choke. So what you're doing wrong here is you're rushing it. You're rushing it a little too much and playing past your advantage. You're playing past the cart when you don't need to. You could be poking back here and still poking their backline and still in front, right? This is where you would be slowly gaining space because if you press up here, well, now you just flipped it. Now the cart is going to be used against you, and now it's going to cut off LOS. This is where you want to naturally just be poking and start playing the sustain game and start poking through and start pressuring their backline while you're here as a tank. You don't want to push past a battle that you already won, which was the defender's hold. You already won this hold. You just play passively and sustain, and then you cut off and start shooting at their supports, right? This also denies tanks from making any plays too, if you just play a little bit more passive. But now that you pushed up, now you're enabling them to make a play, just like what this Emma is doing right now. Good thing you realized that. You backed off a little. But see, you lost this fight purely because you guys over-aggressed a already winning battle, and then you got punished for it. You just needed a sustain there.
Right here would be fun off angle, yeah? Like right here.
Yeah, right here is great. Like right here is perfect. When we off angle, you spot the magic. Drop his ult. Do we have ults? Yes, we do have ults. Okay, where you guys are playing though it's fine. This is good. You guys just got an ult, so it's not. This is good on you. That was a good ult by him. Now, you know that they have better ult. Yeah, they have ult advantage. You just play for the sustain game and tell your team, hey, get ready to kite back. They're going to have better ult. So this is fine. And your goal right here is to shoot any target that you can guarantee your ult. Your ult is going to be the game changer, especially since you're at 80%. So you should be able to gain your ult in this fight. So you just need a sustain here. Yep. See, now the Emma gets cut off. Could be looking at supports. There we go. Oh, nice. So when it comes to ult as Magneto, especially right here, it's a little further back. Your goal with this ult is to apply pressure, but you're not gonna apply any pressure if you're just staring at this thing, right? You want to be looking at their supports and kind of making the space for you. Because naturally they're gonna back off if you're looking at them, especially as an ult mag. And then if you want to, you can just look back and then shoot the thing right away, right? Yeah. But now you kind of gave the supports like a safety measure of, oh, he's not looking at me, I can still play here. If you just fly up because you're flying, you look at them, I guarantee you this rocket's gonna be looking this way, or this rocket's gonna be going this way, or this Luna is gonna play more passive and back off now. And now this makes it to where Thing isn't gonna get healed for another 3 seconds, opposed from you just using the ultimate. So it's just a matter of where you want this pressure to be applied. I want it to be more focused on the supports. Okay, the supports feel pressure, boom, I'm gonna flick shot into their mag. And now their mag is gonna take a lot of damage, and their supports are not gonna be able to help them out in time. But even then, now that you hit the mag, you can deny even more pressure by cutting off the heals by going in between them and putting up a shield or putting up your bubble. So like next time, just look around more when you're mag ulting. He's just trying to stall, yeah. Yeah, you just get... Oops. Yeah, you just had to win that one fight. I think anywhere afterwards you can't really improve much on, because you're just forced to touch cart. Yeah. So, I think overall, you need to work on applying their backline. So your priority is pretty good. Let me write this out. Oops, I need to edit this. There we go. So I think you did well on like who you need to look at, and and using your ult. Your ult timings are really good. I think you gotta get better at like taking space and understanding chokes a little bit more and cart pressure. So I'll just do so you need to get better at abusing chokeholds, let's say. You also need to improve on hard anchoring defenders' positions. So I guess that's the same thing. But yeah.
So my definition of a choke is just anywhere that's like really hard to get into, and also anywhere to get hard out to. Just because like the area is just much more enclosed. There's like cover around it, so it's easier for like abilities to land. Is there any other like way to like define it in a way?
How I like to look at chokes is a spot on the map where you're committed to. So you know, on like Left 4 Dead 2, there would be a choke, and once you pass the choke, you're committed to it. You have to make the play, and if it doesn't work, you will get punished for it. So chokes is more of a line of you can't fall back, or it's nearly impossible to kite because it's a choke. So you're just in a committed position. So I think you just need to improve on anchor defender positions. So on defense, improve on anchor defender positions. Understand tank LOS. So prevent mag value from LOS while shooting at supports, or between the main tanks. Let me think. I think on attacking, you want to be mainly thinking about your ultimates are really good. That's the thing. I think your ultimates is really good. Your pressure is really good. Your off angling is really good.
It's like all the best DPS aspects just got into like my tank.
Yeah, pretty much. They're all really good though, because you orient it, you do that subconsciously at good times. I think you just need to work on kiting. And you can do this by improving on ult tracking and choke holding.
So realistically, it's just like my defense part of like tank is probably my weakest.
I would say so, yeah. Yeah, I would say so. I think your attacking is really good. You sometimes overcommit on fights, so I think those are the main issue. You're overcommitting fights where the fight doesn't even need to happen.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna put these notes underneath your posts so it's easier to like
Are you ordering them in like most important to least important, or is it just randomly?
I order them between attacking and defending and what you need to improve. It's somewhat random though. I think all aspects though are like equally the same. If not, maybe like I think they're all equally the same on what you need to improve. In terms of like what's important or not, they're all really important.